Well, hey y'all. Don't be rude, speak back. Hey y'all. It's I, Stacy, your favorite Fluffy certified personal trainer and VIP certified coach with Bombshell Fitness. So, I'm back again. Decided to reopen my channel because so many people actually have asked me to, and I also had said, hey, I'm going back to posting all of my journey, all the things where I can kind of keep almost like a journal or a diary of everything that's about to go on the next several months. Let me go ahead and give you a little backstory and reintroduce myself to some of y'all. So, I was born, picture it, Sicily. 18, okay, now. So sorry, I had to do it. So listen. My weight loss journey is very different. My weight gain story is very, very different than most people. When I was 15 and 3/4, I was walking into school and there was a patch of ice. I slipped on that compound fracture in my right ankle. I had to be put under and have internal fixation. They had a hard time waking me up. From the anesthesia, they overestimated how much to give me, and but woke up, all the things. While I was still in the cast with the screws in my leg, my mom had come home from work one night. I apparently stood straight up, yelled, and fell face first into the entertainment system. Broke my 2 front teeth into V's. And of course it was raining. Had to get carried across the building because our elevator wasn't working. I lived in a military installation at the time. Our elevator wasn't working, so they had to go up the B elevator, across the roof, come get me, take me up, across, and down. I was out for all of that. I woke up in the hospital. That's all I knew. So that was sometime beginning of April. And then I had another seizure. And then they're like, okay, so they started doing all these different tests and found out on my 16th birthday, was on the way to the DMV, was diagnosed with epilepsy. So of course, never went to the DMV that day. The neurologist at the time said, it's such a shame, you're such a bright girl, you need to pick a trade because your memory's gonna get worse and worse and worse. Awesome. At the time, I was about 145, 150 pounds. I'm 5'9.5", or 5'8.5", for those of you that, for height purposes. And so, wasn't a big girl at all. I was put on medication. I gained about 179 pounds the first 10 months, and I was still having seizures. And so they switched it, got on another medication, gained 184 pounds in 11 months. So gained over 300 pounds in less than 2 years. Starting at my 16th birthday, so I was 18 by the time. So now, I'm now over 400 pounds at 18. Probably 430 by that point. So, that's always fun to do as you're 17 in high school, 16 in high school. You're having to deal with your clothes not fitting, being a teenager, now gaining this massive amount of weight. And now you have this disorder that makes you just fall and void yourself and all the things, right? So, needless to say, by the way, that doctor was wrong. I have several degrees. And so remember, it's not all that bad. So, fast forward into life, I grow. I, at first, don't think that the doctor is wrong. So, I just go into different things. I'm like, well, maybe I'll be a, a biller or a coder, because that became really popular at the time. And since I was told I wouldn't be able to retain enough to get a degree. And at the time I had wanted to be a lawyer. So all of that, it was either a doctor or a lawyer, and those went out the window. But anyway, fast forward. I'll skip all the stuff. Finally went to college, tried one class, and was like, wait, I can remember. And wound up graduating a few colleges with a few different degrees. Thank you. So, and also had a paper out for publication about the stigmatization of obese. But no play with me. So, that's why I spend a lot of time talking to a lot of you about what you think you become. That doctor instilled in me that I was never going to do anything more than have a trade school. And there's nothing wrong with that, but basically said every dream you've ever dreamt your whole life, throw it away. And I believed it for a very long time until I dared not to. And then fast forward, we go through life, we start working, go to school, all the things. And my brother gets into a bad motorcycle accident. I wound up moving from Georgia to Texas. And I get set up when I get a new job, get set up with all the doctors. During this whole time, I've always worked in the medical field. Actually went to med school for 2 years before his accident. Because of his accident. I dropped out. But came down here, wound up working for the organization that he was actually in the hospital with, still with them today. How life works. And set up care with a PCP, and I worked in the medical field this whole time. Every doctor I've ever worked with has always said, Stacy, let me go ahead and give you a gastric bypass. Only way you're gonna get weight. And I was just like, mind you, I had never tried to lose any weight because even though I didn't put this weight on me, I still had the shame of it. I still had the shame of being overweight because no one looked at me and looked at my medical records. They just saw somebody that was overweight. They just saw somebody that was obese. So I had to be lazy. I had to be slovenly. I had to be all the negative things that's associated with it, right? I had to be not intelligent. And so I'll never forget, I had this doctor and he said, look, I don't know who hasn't told you this, but if you are going to save your life, you need to put the fork down. And you need to put the fork down and you need to let me do this operation, refer you so you can have the gastric bypass. Something in me snapped and I just went, are you saying that I'll never lose weight on my own? And he said, no, you'll never. So I've had my neurologist at 16 telling me I'd never graduate from college. My memory too bad. I had a physician tell me that my brother would be nothing more than a vegetable. He's not. And I've had this physician tell me the only way I will ever lose weight is to have a procedure I don't need. Because back then, I'm not talking about 3, 4, 5 years ago. No, I'm talking about like, oh, I've been out here. I'm talking about like 15 years ago or more. And so, yeah, 15 years. So I went, bet. I said, he said, no, you'll never. And I said, watch me. So I guess that for me, that was 3 structure out. I had 3 doctors tell me that what would never happen when I know who I serve and anything is possible. And I started looking at ways to lose weight. What do you do? And it's crazy because all the ways they told you to eat, I ate that way. I wasn't like counting calories or all the things, but I love salad. And I loved all the healthy things. I didn't eat a whole bunch of junk. And so it was like, okay, there are sizes. Okay, now we got to get into, how do we connect all of this? And at the time it was like, well, do this diet and that diet. I'm not interested in that. And so I started moving my body. I started lifting weights. I got a personal trainer down here. Was with him for several years. And then I became friends with some bodybuilders. And I fell in love with bodybuilding. I just thought it was such a magical sport. I thought that it was just, and still do, that is so amazing. I'm not gonna be on here long because I'm speeding up. I just thought that it was just so amazing. All the things that you could do, how you could transform your body, just lifting weight, eating different, all the things. What do you mean you don't put sauce on stuff? Who are you? So I started going to bodybuilding shows. And I'll never forget, I was at a bodybuilding show. And I think it was Nationals. Where one of my friends had gone pro. And I saw this lady. She had blonde hair. She was beautiful. And she was behind another lady who had on a black dress with glitter or with rhinestones down the front. And it was bling. So I was just like, hello. I was like, huh. And she was against my friend. And she was amazing. And so I asked her, who's this? And she was like, oh, that's Team Bombshell. And I'm like, what? Bombshell, but the bling of it all. So, I go and I Google them, I look them up. And I think it was that year they had really put out their program. It was called ProFit and FitPro. I think I was ProFit. I think that's what I was. Speaking of my ankle, ow. Whew, it decided that it wanted to hurt, so I'm gonna give it a second. And so I had applied to be a part of Bombshell. I was accepted, and I chickened out, and I said, when I lose enough, because I didn't see anyone that looked like me. I was like, they can't help me. They're used to the stage girls. They're used to getting people ready for that. They can't help me. And I think I lost like 80 pounds. And I went, okay, we're gonna try this. And I wrote in, and I said, hey, I got accepted like 2 years ago. Can I join? And they said yes. And got my very first coach. And joined Bombshell. November of 2015. So next year is 10 years for me. 10 years going on forever. Slow this down for a minute because this ankle is not having it. So, joined Bombshell. My very first coach. She was different. She was very different. She told me that she couldn't believe that she had gotten a fat client. That kind of confirmed my fear of fitness. And I just went, okay, I'm getting out of here. And then they got rid of her. Like, I think a week or two later. So she was out the door anyway. And then I got another coach, and I was just like, oh, and she was amazing. And, I started learning about portion sizes and macros and all the things. And went to my first BomberCon, took my mom, who was my best friend, and that was in August of 2016. And I had lost like an additional 60 pounds. So now I'm over the 100 mark, losing the weight. My mom had been diagnosed April, on my birthday of 2016, with a rare form of cancer. She had a hysterectomy the next month in May. And they said either comes back or it doesn't. There's no chemo, there's no treatment, there's no radiation, there's nothing. We went to BomberCon. She came downstairs one time. I knew something was wrong. And then we went to have a girls' weekend at Disney. She never left the room, except by ambulance to go to Celebration Orlando, Celebration Hospital. And then we came home. She was put on, it had come back metastasized. She was put on hospice on September 7th, and she died 21 days later. I watched her die every day. I took care of her. I lost lost more weight during that time because all I did was work out and not eat, or drink protein shakes, and because I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat during that time. Got down to my lowest at the time, which was I think 299, and then got another master's degree, and she wound up passing in 2016. I went through a rough time with family, and then I went through a rough time internally in 2018, and I wound up putting on like 150 pounds. I would work, go down to the corner store, to what was it called? I wanted to say Staples, but that's not a grocery store. It was Stripes. I would get a liter of Coke, a sausage wrap, but I would take off the tortilla because carbs, and I would get a bag of sour now laters, and I had that every single day, sometimes twice a day, and I worked 19 hours a day. And then one day, he said enough, and I woke up, and it was like I had been looking at life through mashed potatoes. There we go. Okay. Sorry. It's like, okay, I need you to work. It was like I had been looking at life through mashed potatoes. My vision was just as clear. And I remember on my mom's deathbed, she said, "You've lost so much weight, you look so good. Promise me you'll continue, and promise me you'll stay with Bomb Shop." She's like, Shannon is the only one you can call Mama B besides me. I remembered my promise, and I fought my way back. And I've had ups and downs along the way, but today I can say I'm 272 pounds down. And I did it without surgery. And that's not a dig at anyone that has surgery, but you told me I couldn't do it. I did it. And I'm not done. So I started my social media journey because I had my trainer I told you about. He was always like, "What are you eating? What you doing? What you doing?" And I was like, look, I think Instagram had just come out. I was like, look, what if I just post it online and you look at it and leave me alone? So I did that. And then I started posting inspirational stuff for me. And somehow people started seeing it, and I started getting a following. And people started knowing who I was, which was weird. And companies started reaching out and wanting to work with me, which was weird because I didn't happen to obese people. Didn't you have to be fit to represent fitness? But what I didn't know was the reason why I started being more public with my channel was because you see all the befores and you see all the afters. You never see the durings. You never see those. What the hell happens during the weight loss? Is it just linear? No, it sucks. Some days you're like, yes, let's do this. Other days you're just like, I'm gonna feel better when it's over. I'm gonna feel better when it's over. And you talk yourself into it. And so I started sharing the good, the bad, the ugly, the in between, the stuff that I didn't see anybody sharing. Because I was just like, I didn't want to be boring. Now that I had 10 followers, I didn't want to be boring. So I just started sharing whatever came to mind. And then somehow Sauna Chronicles was born. That wasn't intentional. It was just, I was in the sauna one day and started talking. And I've missed that. I think today you would call it my unhinged social media posts. I call them being me. I call them being transparent. And I have so much to share with y'all. 12 weeks ago today, I had a breast reduction. They took 4 pounds from each breast. And the way I can move is so different. I have so much to tell y'all about that. But I figured, let me do this introductory video. Reintroduce myself. And I'm going to get good with all the graphics, and I'm pretty sure I'll do a video with voiceovers, and there'll be stuff flying all in, and I'll have a cute little video intro. But for now, I'm just Stacy. I will always be just Stacy. FY Izzle. And what you can expect from this channel is honesty. Raw and real. Transparent. I love that YouTube now has a shorts feature where you can do 1 minute little videos. So expect that from me. But I couldn't start all of that without doing this first. So now you know who I am. Oh, and Bombshell, that I've been with for 9 years, I'm a coach with them. I've been a coach for 3 years. I just got recertified. I'm a certified personal trainer. I have my corporate job, but I am also a master mindset life coach, as well as I am a travel agent. So you're gonna see a lot on this channel. You may see travel agent stuff. The majority of it will be fitness. You may see beauty stuff because I'm really gotten into skincare. Wait till I'll tell y'all about Glow Recipe. And I tried different things. So you're gonna get a little bit of everything. You're just gonna get me, just Stacy. All right, I'm actually gonna put some effort into this. I look forward to getting to know you guys. You made it this far, thank you. Talk to you soon. And I'm gonna tell you what I tell all the bombshells. Get out there. Be amazing to everyone you come across, but never be better than anyone than you are to yourself. Don't you ever give anybody more than you give you. You come first. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.